Alright, we should be live. So 93, 93, 93. This is Asha Renew from AshaRenew.com. If I sound a little tired, it's because I really just woke up. Not just woke up, but it's been a long week. As usual, it's been a long week. But I decided to pop up on y'all. I know I ain't popped up in a minute. You know, the days be hectic at this point. The days be hectic. But I wanted to come before you today. Just let you know that the Mercury retrograde will be ending tonight. So for the past 3 weeks, we've been going through the Mercury retrograde, and of course everybody will have experienced that in their own way, based on your location, based on your natal chart, so on and so forth. So of course it has been affecting us all differently. So if I speak from my own personal perspective in terms of the effect Mercury retrograde had on me, it's like every day I'm doing something different. Like, it was really not too much consistency, like doing different things every day, doing necessary things, but they all pretty much, I kept getting put in a position where I had to figure things out, essentially. Like, there was no straight path, there was no premeditated route. A lot of things just simply had to get figured out in the moment, in the now. So as they say, it's been a lot of thinking on your feet, right? Being on your feet. So of course, I'm always on my feet, always thinking. So I have to tap into my innovative mind, my mind of invention, of how to do things more effectively and more efficiently. Because just within my, own personal cipher, things have been, going all over the place. I may be at the job, something breaks down, the whole system shuts down. Now everything has to be done manually, for example. So that's what's been going on with me. It's been a lot of manual work. Everything is automated by technology. Everything is, up to date. However, if a problem occurs in the algorithm, then people have to come and fix it, which, can take who knows how long. So it's been a lot of manual work, doing things essentially from scratch. Doing things, you can say, the old way. So now that we have came to the end of this Mercury retrograde cycle, because I've been paying attention. They're like, okay, we're going to get this repaired, we're going to get this fixed, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. And all of it was pretty much revolving around the end of the Mercury retrograde. Okay, we had this fixed by this day, this day. I'm like, okay, that's when Mercury goes direct. That's when Mercury goes direct. So it's like people are really in tune with these things, whether they realize it consciously or not. Because I'm just literally looking at the timing of how things are happening, when things are happening. I saw how things was when Mercury first went into retrograde, and then I've been, accessing the data the whole time, and now that Mercury is going direct, now things are starting to stabilize again. So I witnessed how the situation went from being unstable to stabilizing itself. All these things have been happening right before my eyes, and that's just getting up and going to work every day. That's not necessarily just doing anything special. That's just me being at the job, doing whatever is necessary, whatever is needed, and just how things are getting done. Everybody's just walking around scratching their heads. Okay, how are we going to figure this out? How are we going to figure this out? Everything is, we have to tap into innovation and being original. So, it's not like a situation where you just get told instructions and, you have to follow it to a T. It's like, well, if you have a better way of doing this, then use that better way. So, you pretty much, you have the ability to access your inventive energies. Which is essentially brand new to me. I'm just used to somebody telling you what to do when you do it, the way that they taught you how to do it, yada yada yada. Versus you can completely do something different. And as long as it's done effectively and safely, then ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you. All right, you got it done. Nobody was hurt. It is what it is. Keep doing it that way. So it's really I've been witnessing these things just right in front of me. All type of situations been happening. What's up, Constantine? Does semen retention help with meditation? Well, not meditation, manifestation. It depends on your reasonings. It depends on your intentions. Because, again, I don't know if you read Think and Grow Rich, but there's a whole chapter about that. So this knowledge didn't just come out of nowhere before people was even calling it semen retention. That's just what they say now in the 21st century. But Think and Grow Rich came out in the 20th century, and they were talking about that. It's a whole chapter dedicated to that, and that was released in the 20th century. So according to Napoleon Hill, he basically says yes, because this is where this idea came from. Like, nobody just invented this. All these people just remix old information and just use a different type of language. But this information has already been available to us pretty much almost 100 years at this point. Whenever Think and Grow Rich came out, I believe it came out maybe the 1920s or something like that. I'm not sure the exact date, but we've been talking about this stuff for over 100 years at this point. It just been said in a different way. All right. So I'm just giving you the root, so that one of the first, if he was not the first person to mention it, he was one of the first people to mention it. And it wasn't really a lot of people that followed that, because they wasn't really with that. That was something that was completely foreign to them. So just imagine you reading a book about Think and Grow Rich. You're just thinking about how much money can be made or what you can gain from it, and then you come to this chapter that talks to you about, yes, to stop busting off haphazardly. That was probably the last thing that you was expecting to hear from a get rich book, but it was in there. So I would advise you to read that particular chapter if that's what you're already into. So if you're already into that, then by all means. But that's a way. Is that the way? No, that's a way. Because then you have the tantric path. So it all depends on if you consider yourself tantric or not. If you don't consider yourself tantric, if you more so consider yourself spiritual, you consider yourself like a monk, somebody who's trying to abstain from sins and attachments and all that. If that's basically more Eastern, if you're more Eastern in your mentality, then of course, semen retention is probably something that you already do with no problem anyway, because you already live that type of lifestyle. My advice is always going to be, you have to live in accordance to your lifestyle. You have to live in accordance to your orbit. So whether you fall on the right hand path or you fall on the left hand path, that's completely up to how you were predestined to be here. So if you're more tantric, you probably have a different way of doing things, right? But each path requires discipline nonetheless. And what I mean by that is, even if you are tantric, you still have to be very cautious about who you lay with. Meaning they have to be tantric as well. Meaning you shouldn't be a tantric person laying around with non-tantric people, because it really wouldn't do anything for you, because that's not the point of being tantric. The point of tantra or tantra is enlightenment. So that means it takes a team effort. So when both of the people, or however many people are participating, when everybody has the same intention, when everybody has the same goal, then that's what makes things work versus just one person. A lot of people have issues with semen retention, I guess, if you're in a relationship, because that requires you to have your sexual stamina up to par. That's what that's really talking about. Because honestly, you're doing semen retention anyway, just trying to last in bed. If you just let yourself go, you probably will be over in 1 minute. But of course, you want to satisfy your partner, so you're probably prolonging that over and over and over again. Then, you may finish in the end, you may not. So it's all personal preference. I can't tell you which path is more powerful because it's based on your own energy. It's not just based on, basically, there's no one size fits all solution. There is no one size fits all solution because we are not the same. Some of us are composed of fire. Some of us are composed of water. Some of us are composed by the air. Some of us are composed by the earth. And if you are spiritual, you got a little spiritual energy in there. But we are not all the same. We don't have the same attributes. We don't have the same names. We are all different. You could say we are all technically human, but the variations between us is infinite. That's why there is all types of way of lives, all types of traditions and religions all over the world because everybody's different. People like to do things their own way. All right, that's we see that all over the world. We just see they're all human, but they all have their own language, their own culture, their own way of doing things, their own way of building, their own way of destroying. You can't really say who is more powerful because there's been many great civilizations. You had Kemet, Greece, Rome, all of the traditions and cultures of Africa, all over the world, right? Mesopotamia, Mesoamerica. All these people are technically humans, but clearly they are tapped into different star constellations. They are tapped into different star intelligence, which will guide them in a different way. That's why this energy is constantly having to renew itself. That's why we have to go through retrogrades, because we are still currently in the Pluto retrograde. I made a video about that before, if you're not caught up into that science. I guess maybe a week ago. Cause I'll be losing track of time. I'll be having to keep myself entertained. Cause a lot of the time, I'll be having to figure out things to do. When I'm at the Justice Cipher born, like we're not just working for 10 hours straight. It's a lot of downtime because again, things are still being figured out. They're seeing what works, what don't works. So there's a lot of time to contemplate. There's a lot of time to be meditative, which I wasn't expecting. So that was an unexpected factor for me, if I'm to be honest. I'm thinking I'm just gonna go, into this work location and just, labor, 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 labor. Turns out some days are like that, but other days it's not. Other days are pretty slow. Other days, you're doing more mental work than physical work, essentially. So I wasn't really expecting that. I thought it was gonna be all straight physical labor. Some days it's mental labor. Sometimes you're just looking at the clock, waiting to clock out. So it's like you have to fight that urge because it's like you become introduced to your shadow. What I mean by that is, as they say, the idle mind is the devil's playground. I really understand that now. See, that wasn't really something that I really understood because, like, I will always be busy. I'm always doing my best to stay creative, stay active. But now that I'm at the work location, it's like, oh, I see exactly what this is because you essentially have to be there. You can't just leave. So even if there is nothing to do, you still gotta be there, right? So even if they just telling you to do this, do that, do that, but it may not be much to do. They're just pretty much telling you to do something just so that they don't have to send your ass home, right? Which I'm like, okay, well, They definitely could have just told everybody to take y'all ass home, but they're like, nah, everybody can stay, but just figure out something. That's what I mean. Like they just telling you, like, just figure out something, find something to do. There's much to do. Find something to do. So that's what I mean. There's just some days where the mental abilities have to activate more so than the physical. I also heard if we have blocked chakras, it is hard for us to manifest. How true is this? Well, when it comes to the chakras, how we explain the chakras over here in America or over here in the West is different than how they explain it in the East. So let me preference it with that. What we, or not what we know about chakras, how we explain chakras and how we view chakras, we have Americanized it. Even just talking about manifestation, you're not going to go over to the East and they're talking about manifestation. That's Western. We actually see that as a form of spirituality. I'm manifesting, I'm high vibrational. Like, they don't talk like that over in the East. They don't. They don't resonate with nothing we talking about. I had to figure this out because I had to read the literature. So I'm like, okay, well, where is all this stuff coming from? And how did they view it? And it's completely different than how we view it. So that's just to preference it. That how we view spirituality, how we view manifestation and semen retention, whatever it is, we're viewing it through a westernized scope, meaning we have dumbed it down to the absolute most dumbest place that it can be, to the point where spirituality is not even spirituality anymore. Manifestation should not even be the most important factor, but it is. So I'm not going to act like it's not, especially when that's my most viewed video. The the video with the highest views on this channel was talking about manifestation. That just goes to show that's just what people are into. That's just the way what people took hold on to, right? So maybe now and then we may talk about chakras, but pretty much everything we talk about is in accordance to manifestation. That's what I figured out. I mean, and people don't really give a fuck about unblocking their chakras if it's not gonna help them get some bread, if it's not gonna help them get a woman, if it's not gonna help them get a man. Like it's always, again, we just have this trickster mentality. This is what I call it. We're always negotiating, right? That's why we have people who would just eat themselves to death, smoke themselves to death, abuse themselves to death. Meaning we just have a very strange way of looking at spirituality because it's not natural to us. Meaning we are in the hells of the world, right? If you're in America, you are in the hells of the world. The root, since we want to talk about chakras, the earth has chakras. The root chakra of the earth is in California. So that's why they call America the most satanic or the most demonic place where the devil actually lives in America. That's where all this stuff actually comes from without them telling you that. That's why I always want to take y'all further. Like we can talk about chakras, we can talk about what you can do on a personal level to improve yourself. But that was never the issue. The issue of blocked chakras, that was never the issue. It's some people that don't even believe in chakras, but still have pretty fantastic lives, and they don't even acknowledge chakras. Then you have people who are like, damn, I'm not getting what I want because my chakras are blocked. But you have a person who don't even recognize chakras, and then they're just fine. What's up, no deceit in my spirit, 93. So that's essentially where I'm getting at, We're just so materialized. We're just so low vibrational because we are actually in hell. Like everything is about money here. Meaning we don't even want to be spiritual. We're intellectual if it ain't about the bag. If we're not pursuing the bag. What's up, Dank Wizard? How's work been? That's all I've been talking about at this point. Some days are physically demanding, some days are mentally demanding. So like every day is different. I don't know what to expect. Every day I walk into the job, I don't know what to expect. It ain't that type of job where they just tell you to do the same thing every day. It ain't that type of atmosphere. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And I was like, I work 4 days a week, 10 hours, right? Of those 4 days that I work, I may be doing four different things on those 4 days. So it's not really much consistency, right? I actually learned how to drive forklifts and shit. Like they just throwing shit. That's just what's been going on. Right, I'm fucking. I know how to drive a forklift now. I'm like, I wasn't thinking about no goddamn forklift. Yeah, well, like what the? Like, oh, okay. Here, get on the forklift. Oh, you demonstrate that you know how to work it. All right, start unloading these trucks. I'm like, now I'm unloading trucks with forklifts. I'm like, okay, like how do I even get here? Right? Like, how do I even get here? So 4 days a week, I can be doing four different things. One day I may be forklifting. Another day I may be just mentally trying to not go insane, because there's really not too much to do, So other days, it's physically demanding. So it's cool, It's a lot of innovation. So I guess it doesn't get boring, So, and I finally replaced my phone. All right, I finally replaced my phone. That's why the live stream should be good. Now, like, I finally replaced it. Right, I know I've been talking about it. Let me see, where is it? I know I've been talking about it. Hold on, I don't even know where it is. Oh, there it is. So this is my previous phone, as you see. Screen is cracked. All right, screen is cracked. So finally replaced my phone. So we shouldn't be having no more live issues. All right, so all the issues we've been having with the glitches and all that should be fixed. This is a whole nother device. I just replaced it yesterday, right? I just got this phone yesterday. I wanted to go live yesterday, but I was too tired. I was way too tired. Yeah, my days start at 2:15 in the morning. So for those who just want to know how it's been going, my days start at 2:15. I wake up at 2:15 every morning, and I may not get home till about 7:30 at night. So I'm already up before the sun comes up, and by the time I get home, that's sunset. So about 7:30 is about sunset, right? So the sun is already going down before I even hit the door. So my days is extremely long. So again, I only have about 6 hours at home. So I got to cut that between sleep, 3 hours of sleep, and just 3 hours of, catching up. Just staying up to date with everything that's going on, or basically three hours to myself, then 3 hours of sleep. So I'm only sleeping 3 hours. Then the other 3 hours, I make sure that I eat. I make sure that I, doing some exercise. And my body was super sore that first week. That first week was crazy. My body was sore. My body ain't been really sore no more. I guess my body is getting used to it. So I ain't really sore no more. Right, my back ain't really hurt no more. So I guess my body is getting used to the pressure. So when you pray for my toe, it has a disease that is deadly. You really asked me to pray for your toe. I mean, I'm not really the praying type of guy. Who am I praying to? That would be the question I ask you. Who am I supposed to be praying to? But we'll leave that there. Because whatever I'm supposed to be praying to, what is stopping you from praying to that particular deity or that spirit, whatever it may be? What's stopping you from praying? I'm not even sure what that can like. Do we seem like people that pray? I don't know. Do I seem like a praying man? Well, I can't really tell. Again, it's like I've been out in the world so much now. Again, before I was just like a hermit. Before I wouldn't even leave this room if I didn't have to. I'm perfectly fine with just being in my own personal space. But now that I have to be in the world every day, I have to be amongst the public every day. At this point, like when people acknowledge me, it's like I realize that they say the same thing to me. Like I get the same title. Like everybody's like calling me OG, right? I'm like, what the fuck? People that don't know each other. Like even at the job, they're like, yeah, we're like, what's up, OG? I'm like, do I really? Like I'm really up there in age. I'm really up there in age. Like I done been called OG so many times by so many different people. It's to the point where I like they clearly see that spirit on me. I'm like, okay. Well, just coming from all these different people, they all call me OG. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just up there in age. I'm just up in age. I'm like, okay, it is what it is. But that's what your spirit, not your spirit, that's what your city is supposed to do for you. That's why, you get your name from the people. The people give you your name, right? The people give you your title. And they can call themselves, you know, whatever they want. But yeah, everybody's calling me OG. I'm like, oh shit. Like you unk now? Yeah, I am. I guess so. I guess so. Like, this motherfucker done been through the hells on earth. All right. What's up, Emoto 72? What's up, K-Mo? What's up, Cam? What's up, Tarot Readings? Let me answer your question. I see it's a couple questions here. Let me not go too far down. What about the people that don't believe in spirituality and they have great lives? Can you talk about that? That's what I was talking about before. I briefly mentioned that when I was talking about there's people who don't believe in chakras. It's people that don't believe in none of this stuff, but they're doing pretty well. And I said that because when we're not doing so well, we think about, okay, maybe I got a blocked chakra, maybe I got a bad spirit on me, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. It's like we be going above and beyond trying to explain things that we really don't understand. And then I realize people don't understand because like when I hear people talk about stuff, I'm like, they really don't know. Meaning, like, I be on break. When I be at break, this is what I mean. Like this experience, this whole job stuff. This is just giving me the opportunity to be amongst people to see what the people's mind is. That's what I'm really doing. I'm just really listening to the conversations. I'm just really okay. What are the youth doing? Because of course there's people younger than me. There's probably fucking teenagers there. 18 and up. Why wouldn't it be? So I'm just really looking at where is everybody mind at? Because I don't normally have access to this many people just regularly, but I'm able to access all these people, and everybody's always running their mouth, talking about something. So I'm just listening. So when people call themselves trying to be intellectual, trying to be political, I just hit the same talking points. I really don't hear nobody with original thoughts. And it'd be people in the break room to be talking about whatever their little spirituality they got going on. I'm like, oh my god, I think I'm watching a YouTube video, listening to these motherfuckers. I'm like, damn, they sound like these YouTube videos. I'm like, I see y'all. Like I know where y'all getting this stuff from. So spirituality to me is a joke. To be completely honest, it's just that shit is completely whitewashed. It just brainwashes the people. Like spirituality nowadays is just a bunch. Again, that's why people are just so concerned about manifestation. They only want to unblock their chakras because it can get them more money, it can get them more status, it can get them more this. Like so, like again, we're just a bunch of tricksters. That's why it's a bunch of frauds in the spiritual community. That trickster energy is what rules over that energy. So it's like you actually are signing up for that when you consider yourself spiritual, or you consider yourself conscious, or you consider yourself woke. All these are scams because none of that has anything to do with the great work. None of these people are reading Blavatsky. None of these people are reading Crowley. So if you're not reading Blavatsky, you're not reading Crowley, I'm not even taking you seriously. Because I'm like, listening to any goddamn body at this point. If you're not listening to the godfather or the godmother who laid this down, then you really don't know too much. Because everybody that came after them, well, most people, not let me not say everybody. Most people, they is winning. They did their own thing, and it is what it is, right? It's like I don't even resonate with it. All right. So you don't have to be spiritual to have a great life, especially the current form of spirituality. You don't. You'd be better off just being an occultist. Being spiritual really don't mean shit. Again, like what does that mean? It can be a room full of spiritual people, but they all different. That's why I don't take it seriously. You can have a room full of spiritual people, but all of them know different shit. When you are an occultist, everybody in that room should know the same thing. That's what I promote. That's why I'm always talking about memorize. That astrology, numerology, the Kabbalah, Hebrew alphabet, so on and so forth. That way, when we're all in the same room, or when we all connect through the internet, we all are familiar with the language. So I shouldn't be able to say anything that you don't know because I'm just talking about the same stuff I tell you to memorize. But spiritual people don't really work like that. They pride themselves being different. They love to be different. They don't want to, know the same thing you know. They don't want to be on the same page. Again, that's the Aquarian energy. That's the rebel. That's that independent spirit. That's all Aquarius energy. That's why it's called the age of Aquarius. So that's why people have that energy. So they technically want to be disagreeable. So that's why there's so many people out in the world, they just want to be disagreeable just for the sake of being disagreeable. They don't have to be, but people just want to be different. Right? So even when I say being a cultist, that probably doesn't even resonate with spiritual people. Like, okay, why do I want to know the same thing you know? See, their mentality is just completely different. So I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just a difference of perspective. All right, so it all depends on what you resonate with. At this point, I just let people do whatever they want to do. That's why you see I come on here, I get on YouTube, I say my piece, and I get the fuck on, right? I'm not at work talking about none of this stuff. Nobody knows nothing, right? Nobody knows nothing about me. They just know my name is Asha. That's it. They don't know about the YouTube. I don't mention that. I'm like, that don't have nothing to do with nothing, right? I'm just a ghost in their eyes. And that's how I choose for it to be because I'm like, hey, this ain't something that you want to bring into the work environment, or that's not something I would like to bring to the work environment. Because again, I just see a bunch of people, they just looking for the next entertainment. They're just looking for, new friends, new relationships, whatever it may be. Everybody's like have ulterior motives other than making money. Everybody can say, yeah, I'm here to make money, but yeah, are you really? There's some people who just didn't have nothing better to do. I can either just chill at the house or I can get up and get a job. You know, it's real casual. But to me, that's just the energy of Vegas at the same time. Like everybody's like super casual. I'm not. I really don't run into a lot of egomaniacs here. There's very few in between. But a lot of people, I'm like, these people don't really have no ego. But I'd be talking about killing your ego, well, not completely killing it, but to, keep the ego out of the business. But I'm like, I guess I'm saying that because that's the spirit of Vegas. Because the more I'm amongst people, I'm like, because again, coming from somewhere like California, for example, oh, it's egomaniacs all over the place. You can be homeless and an egomaniac. You can be a millionaire, billionaire, and an egomaniac. But here, I'm looking from everybody from district managers to co-workers, and like, there's no ego there. It's like, yo, if you want to talk to the manager, all you gotta do is email him, and then he'll set up a time to talk to you. I'm like, damn, you just got access to the district manager. I don't remember no other job that you can just email them. They get at their schedule. Like it ain't never that damn easy. I'm like, why is it so? I'm scratching my head. I'm like, why is this so easy? You can talk to literally the boss of the boss. Yeah, like just schedule an appointment. Like, yeah, I'm like, damn, and they just know you ain't got to go through this person. Like, you can just talk to this mom. I'm like, oh. Then they want to talk to you. Like, they want to hear your opinion. They want to see what's going on. I'm like, you can't really have no ego if you give a fuck about my opinion. Because the only thing that should matter is your opinion. So I'm like, the lack of ego here is very interesting. Because I'm like, I've been talking about this, but it wasn't from a perspective of me being amongst people. That was just more so me being internal. I was internalizing the energy. But now I see the energy reflected outwardly. I'm like, damn, I'm not really running into meaning because it's people that actually interact with me. What I mean by that is some people are intimidated, but many people are not. And then the people I do communicate to or with, like there's just no ego there. So it's very humbling, I would say. It's very humbling. Especially when you talking to people that are not intelligent. The last thing you want to talk to is an unintelligent person with a massive ego. It's like that's a situation you don't want to find yourself in. You don't want to find yourself in that type of situation. But I haven't found myself in that situation. You an old soul, they see it in you and feel your energy. That's funny. That's funny. But I guess so. But I was raised by the elders. So I get it. I was raised by people that were significantly older than me. I was raised by the elders. So while most people was raised by their parents, I was raised by my great grandparents. You know, so I guess that's what people feel. They feel my great grandparents. It's more about your spirit than age. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I'm not gonna disagree with that. I'm not gonna disagree with that. Perhaps being aware of so much causes certain problems like ignorance is bliss. That's basically what happens. People have access to so much information that they don't know how to process it. It's like you can be on YouTube all day. You can be on TikTok all day. So you're getting information every 30 seconds, every 60 seconds. You're just strolling, 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 information, information, information. People literally have access to too much information. They can't process it to the point where, yes, it literally does not increase your intelligence. It actually makes you more ignorant because you don't know how to process everything that you're taking in, meaning it never becomes wisdom. It just stays knowledge. So you have a lot of knowledgeable people who end up not becoming wise because they don't know how to process the information in a way that makes them wise, which is just having discernment. Meaning you may take in 100% information, but only 20% of it may be relevant to you. So what makes a person wise is you know how to distinguish that 80% from that 20%. You know how to cut off the fat, right? And you know how to take and maintain and preserve the 20% that actually matters. That's a process. That's a mental process, right? So over time, that makes you wise. So everything that you take in, you know how to take off the fat and you know how to leave what's actually relevant. And, over the years, that will accumulate to certain patterns. You start to see that, oh, life has a certain pattern to it. People have a certain patterns to it that we call genetic codes. You begin to understand the genetic code of not only the earth, humans, and just the universe as a whole. Like all these things are based off of patterns as we call algorithms. So once you begin to understand the algorithms of the planet, of human beings, of the universe, so on and so forth, that's what makes you wise because you can see what most people can't see. Because the only way you're able to see it because you gathered enough experience. And so you learn through experience. You learn by trial and error. You learn from doing right things and sometimes wrong things. And then you gain something from it. So every experience you had, you gained something from it. It made you more wiser because you were actually able to discern what was right and what was wrong, what was positive, what was negative, which takes a skill. That's a skill set. That's why you see, again, everybody's not wise. You can say everybody's knowledgeable. As long as you continue to get older, you can become more knowledgeable, right? But that doesn't mean you're wise. That doesn't mean that you properly allocated that knowledge into wisdom. That's a alchemical process. In order to make knowledge wisdom, that's an alchemical process. Then from wisdom, you must go into understanding. That's alchemy. These are levels of alchemy that we call supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet. Those are levels of alchemy. So, of course, the average person is not doing that, taking knowledge to born from one to the nine, and then you restart. So that's a process. That's alchemy, mental alchemy, spiritual alchemy, physical alchemy. That's how we constantly better ourselves, right? So it's not going to happen on its own. That's what we call the great work. The great work is doing alchemy on yourself. So while everybody else is so concerned with manifestation, which is just bringing more things to you, you should be more concerned with how to remove things that you no longer need. Then you will realize that manifestation is not really hard at all. You just need space. Most people don't have enough space in their mental to bring forth new energy because they're still concerned with old energy. How do we know that? There's people still mad about shit that happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago. We still be in our feelings about old shit. So where is the room for new things to develop? That's why they say only 5% of your brain power is actually dedicated to new things going forward. 95% of people's brains, their thoughts are wasted. Majority of people's thoughts is they're thinking about old shit, shit that already happened, traumatic experiences, whatever it may be. Then they're just thinking about how to maintain. They're thinking about what happened in the past and how to maintain. So only 5% of your brain is only utilized to think about new shit. That's how the average brain works. That's why people are out here ignorant. That's why people are out here with massive egos. That's why people are out here being other than themselves. That's why people are out here doing what they do because 95% of their energy is dedicated to old shit. And I know this for a fact because I'm amongst the people every day at this point. Every day I gotta be amongst the public, and rarely, if ever, do I hear about people talking about cryptocurrency or people talking about the occult, people talking about certain names, the Noble Drew Ali's, the Elijah Muhammad, so on and so forth. People who really laid down the game and the knowledge is still relevant, the wisdom is still relevant. I'm not hearing those type of conversations. I'm hearing a bunch of bullshit. Somebody's mad at this person. Somebody done took something from this person. Just regular human ass shit. For example, I was just at McDonald's like 2 days ago, and it was this man just sitting in here just getting ate up by this woman. Not literally, but she was really talking to him crazy. And so I just walked in there because I wanted to see. It was a price difference. Basically, the whole purpose of me being there. I'm like, okay, I'm at this McDonald's at this particular side of town, and then my total came out to be, let's just say, $5.30. I go to a different McDonald's in a different part of town. Now my total comes out to be like fucking $8, and I got the same meal. How do I get the same meal and I'm paying one? At this location it's $5. At this location it's $8. I'm like, where is this $3 difference coming from? Everything is the same size. So I'm like, oh, these prices are not the same. These prices are based on location. So I was in the hood. I was in the so-called bad part of town. Las Vegas Strip, the northern part of it. So not the vacation spot, not the Las Vegas Strip with the hotels. I'm talking about the north of that. So I'm like, how do they got people in the hood paying more? I was in like the white part of the neighborhood, as we call North Las Vegas. Like, how is that cheaper than the hood? The hood is supposed to have the cheap prices. If I go to the McDonald's in the hood, I'm paying $8. If I go to the, the where the whites are, what the Caucasians are, they're only paying $5. I'm like, that's very interesting. I thought it would be reverse, but it's actually, I'm like, damn, they actually taxing the fuck out of people in the hood. I was shocked, but that ain't the point. The point is, it was this Caucasian man just sitting in there. I guess he was high off of drugs, and a woman was just grilling his ass. Like, oh, you gonna die in these streets if you don't get your life together. I'm like, oh my damn. I'm like, I thought that was his mother for a minute, but then she just walked off. I'm like, damn, that ain't even. She ain't even related to that dude. So this was just a random woman just looking at a man, and she didn't like what she saw. And cause he was like, yo, I just want to get stoned. She's like, okay, well, yeah, you gonna really get stoned. They gonna throw rocks at your ass. Like, she was using that reverse psychology on her. And I'm like, what the fuck did he do to get grilled by this little bitty woman? Cause this dude was like super tall, and like it was this little bitty woman just grilling him. I'm like, I don't know, like how, like what do you do to get that type of behavior? But then it reminded me like, oh, women with their tongue, women know how to get under your skin because like it's like 3 minutes after she left, he left. Like he wasn't liking how she made him feel. He wasn't liking that. So she was. I can't even repeat the stuff that she was saying. I can't even repeat it. But it's like you would think that they actually knew each other, but she was like disappointed. She was like, I'm like, dude, they don't even know each other. She just walked off. I'm like, oh, imagine having to deal with that. But yeah, women know how to say things to get under your skin. Like, yeah, you think you big and bad. You think you doing something because you may be holding shit down, but they got them daggers for your ass. Like, yeah, as soon as you get too much in your ego, you gonna get daggered. Your ass is gonna get daggered. Bring you right back to earth. Yep. But again, nah, this is just random activities this is just random stuff. So yeah, I can't just go into McDonald's. Not that I actually eat from McDonald's. I'm just comparing the prices. I'm like, and of course I'm just gonna spend the money because I'm comparing prices. I'm like, oh, I'm actually just learning stuff. So I'm just walking into stupid ass situations. But it's like it gives me a sense of the spirit of Las Vegas. I'm like, all right, this is Vegas for real, right? See, I had an idea about Vegas based on my own energy, based off of the experiences I had. Now it's like I'm just looking at everybody else's experience. I'm trying to be serious. I'm just looking at everybody else's experience, and like, yeah, the people of Las Vegas is funny. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. The people of Vegas is funny. Man, it's funny, but cause again, it's like it's not like the ego is not there. So like people are just like really minding their own business, doing But he's like everybody's like, either high off something or drunk, because weed is legal. Of course, alcohol is all over the place. You don't even need to pay for alcohol. It's just so much in abundance here. So everybody just having a good ass time. But anyway, I'm all over the place now. Um, what's up, Maurice? For real, that's all they talk about. I don't identify with any of those terms. The enemy got their foot on spirituality and nobody realized it. Yeah, definitely. They took out all the giants. They took out all the people of influence and just replaced it with a bunch of frauds and scammers and liars and manipulators, and you know that's part of the reason why I had to get a job. I'm not gonna lie. They have made the spiritual community so disgusting that people ain't really trying to spend money like that. So yeah, why the fuck you think I'm working a job now? I used to didn't have to. If we go back years ago, people would enjoy, you know, I guess, getting some astrology done, numerology done, tarot readings, whatever, right? And I'm not saying that people don't enjoy it, but it's definitely not the same, right? It's a whole nother energy, right? So that's why I had to navigate. I'm like, right, like it's just not sustainable no more. So I had to do other things, make money in different ways. So instead of just coming on here complaining about it, which I feel like I was doing, I'm like, I'm kind of complaining a little bit too much. I'm like, all right, well, if it ain't what it is, or if it is what it ain't, I just got to navigate around it. I'm not going to just be up here complaining about the shit, right? So, yes, the spiritual community has taken a toll. It's not really as much money circulating like it was, but so be it. You just got to navigate, right? So, you see, even I still show up. But now, it's for different reasons now, you know. But again, that's why the occult and spirituality is not the same. My grandmother raised me. A older lady at my job told me I'm an old soul yesterday. Yeah, these elders, they be having a way more profound effect on us than even we realize. So again, I didn't realize that. Like I was telling you, people, until I'm like, why is all these people calling me OG? But I'm like, yeah, I'm like, okay. The effect of my great grandparents is just still in me. That's just all that. I'm like, yeah, I get that. I wasn't thinking about it like that, but like, yeah, I do get that. Like, I don't have a young spirit. My spirit is, I guess you could say, is very refined. Obviously, you see, I'm not out here, doing the things I could be doing, right? I could be out here being a fucking menace. But as you see, I'm in here making a goddamn YouTube live. That's what I'm doing. I could be out here being a menace. But I decided, okay, let me actually be constructive. Let me be useful. Let me be productive. Not that I'm doing that shit every fucking day at this point, right? So whether I'm doing it at the job or I'm doing it here, I'm like, let me just be constructive and productive and righteous, right? Like I got to be some type of example, right? Can't tell you nothing or suggest anything that I'm not doing, right? So how can I tell you to be righteous? I'm not being righteous. Can't tell you to be loyal if I'm not being loyal. So that's why when you see me come up here every day saying 93, that's just a sign of loyalty. Meaning I'm on the same type of time. Not gonna ever come up here and I'm talking about some other stuff. It's gonna always be filtered through the 93, right? And we're gonna keep riding with it. Just make it bigger, more grander, and that's why I expanded into the music. I appreciate everybody who listened to the new song that I uploaded before this video. I appreciate everybody, who fuck with it. Now I'm gonna put out some ASMR. That'll probably be the next video. I'll do some ASMR for those who like to relax. I know everybody's not into it, but everybody ain't into the music either. So that's why I'm just doing different things for different people. Give everybody a little something. So if you're trying to relax, you got some ASMR. If you're trying to hype up, you got some hip hop. Or if you're just trying to sit back and, soak up some game, got the live streams. So just giving everybody a little something to vibe out to, depending on what type of mood you're on or what type of mood you're in. Have you ever looked at or heard of a subgenre of astrology called human design? If you have, what's your opinion of it? Well, I wouldn't call it a subgenre of astrology. I wouldn't call it that. So that's the thing. I wouldn't say that it's a subgenre of astrology. It's just astrology. You don't have to sub it. That's just what astrology is, right? So that's what astrology is. Like once you take away the zodiac signs and the degrees, that's what astrology actually is. It is telling you about human design, which is why I said before, some of us are composed of fire, some of us are composed of water, some of us are composed of wind or air, some of us are composed by earth. That's astrology for you, right? That is the human design. Some of us have a Scorpio mentality, some of us have Aries mentalities, some of us have Sagittarius mentalities, you know. That's what human design is. Human design is modeled after astrology, but that's not the subgenre of astrology. That's just what astrology is. So that's why if you know astrology, there's really not too much you don't know because everything follows these same patterns. So the same patterns that's established in astrology, you were learning when you begin to study all the other sciences. So having astrology as your foundation makes everything else a cakewalk, right? So again, I wouldn't lessen it and say it's a subgenre. I would say that's the main idea behind astrology without all the extra nonsense. People just like to emphasize the extra nonsense. You don't need to do that. That's just what astrology is in its purest form, right? They open 24 hours out there, definitely. Definitely, shout out to Vegas, 24/7 city. You can wake up at 3 in the morning and get into some shit if you want to. That's why I'm still here. It's either here or New York for me. Like, I'm a real big city person. But if I want to wake up at 3 in the morning and get into something, I don't need to, like, I gotta wait till 6 a.m. It's like these other cities is late cities. The stock market don't even open up to 9. So what the fuck you supposed to do for 6 hours? But with cryptocurrency, it's 24/7, so you can trade all day, all night. You see how that works out? So don't mean to scratch my nose in y'all face. My twin flame get under my skin every time, as they should, because they're supposed to challenge you. Your twin flame this ain't no fucking princess and prince type shit that people want it to be. This ain't no movie lovey dovey shit. This person is supposed to put fire under your ass. Supposed to challenge you in ways that other people can't or other people are not willing to challenge you. That's why it's called a twin flame, a twin fire, not a twin water, a twin fire. Right? That fire, that's what the twin fire is. It inflames you, which is just purifying your soul. The soul is composed of fire. Yeah, I've been subscribed to you like 4 years. What the fuck we been doing for the last 4 years? So 2023, 22, 21, 20. So that means you came in 2019. Yeah. That seemed like a long ass time ago, don't it? That seemed like a long ass time ago. But shit, we've been here since 2013. That's the crazy part. We've been here for 10 fucking years. I've been showing my face to y'all for 10 years. God, that's ridiculous, right? I guess that's why they call me OG, right? Like 10 years. I've been showing y'all how this shit works. I done took you to hell, and I done brought you out of it, right? That's what I told y'all. Right? Took you to the root chakra of the planet. I took you all the way to Devil's Gate, which is one of the portals of hell, right? I took you all the way to Devil's Gate. Then took you all the way to New York with the spaceships, right? Took you all the way to the pits of hell to the spaceships of New York, right? That's what we did. That's what we did. And we just getting started. We just getting started. Well, least that's how I feel. Like we just getting started now. We were just playing around. We just getting started now. Cause now we got the wisdom. See, before it was just a bunch of knowledge. Now we got the wisdom. Now we got the understanding. Now we got the culture. Now we got 93. See, it was different before, you know. I was all over the place like everybody else is all over the place, learning this, learning that, learning this, read this book, watch this, watch that. I didn't have a foundation either until I came into 93. I'm like, okay, that needs to be the foundation, you know, other than 120, supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet, the occult, astrology, all these things. I'm like, this has to be the foundation. So when I made 93 the foundation, I'm like, okay, now I can get a little consistency instead of having to read this author, that author, and they don't agree. So it's like it's too much conflicting information. That's why people are ignorant. That's why people are foolish. There's too many conflicting ideas, and they don't have a foundation. So when you make your foundation, whatever you choose to make your foundation, mine just so happen to be 93. That's the foundation. That's not the end all be all, but that is the foundation. So everything's going to always come back to that 93, no matter how far we travel up into the stars, we can always level it out with that foundation of 93. So that's what it is. So we always remember where we came from, no matter how far we go. Okay, we know this is all the manifestation of 93. No 93, it would be no hip hop, right? See, that's what people don't realize. Like, tarot wouldn't be popular right now if it wasn't for 93. Like, 93, even music wouldn't be the way it is without 93. See, but people don't know that, and people will never know that. So every now and then they get little hints of it, like they put Aleister Crowley on the Beatles album, or Jay-Z started wearing the hoodie "Do What Thou Wilt." See, every now and then we get little sprinkles of, okay, 93 has more to do with a lot of this than all this other stuff that we think. But we only get little inklings of it. We only get little sprinkles of knowledge, and that's all. That's all. It's never really a follow up. Then you got people like Absol, you know, who was a Thelemite. You know, so all the people that's in the Absol, he's a Thelemite. I think he may be the only one that actually says it though. You know, of course, other than myself, of course, there's people that are into Crowley, but they're on it on their own time. They're not making albums about it. They're not putting 93 in their music, right? They do a lot in, like, you know, rock, but not as much as you may think, because you know, it's all type of, again, it's all these type of ideas. But in terms of one, this consistent ideas, you're not really seeing too much of that. Just one consistent idea. They may talk about this, they may talk about that, but in terms of one consistency, it's not too much of that going on. Even you would think, like, he has so many writings that you can OD off of Crowley. He got so much poetry, but you got to have a certain type of mind to even comprehend it. So people just prefer to read different things. That's why I say, like, you don't see me recommending read this book, read this book, read this book. I say, no, just read Crowley. He touched on everything that you can possibly think of. It's already been touched on. It's just that it goes over people's heads. They rather read somebody who speaks in a more simplistic form. Like, if you see what Crowley said about astrology versus what some mainstream author said about astrology, you're going to get two different perspectives. If you hear about what Crowley had to say about the tarot versus what somebody else said about the tarot, you're going to get two different perspectives. So I understand why people prefer other people, because you got to be wise to even comprehend Crowley. You can't be knowledgeable and comprehend 93. You got to be wise to comprehend 93. Because he's not talking to beginners. See, everybody else is talking to beginners. Crowley was never talking to beginners. He was the greatest magician of his time. He's not talking to no fucking beginners. Like, this channel is not for beginners. So you see, you got to have a lot of prior things to even comprehend, like, oh, wait, like, what do you even mean by 93? What do you mean by supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet? I'm not explaining that stuff in every video. But if you've been around long enough, you know exactly what it is because I have explained it before. So when I get into it, okay, I just went to the Justice Cipher Born. You're like, okay, what are you talking about? You should already know what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to explain it every time. Oh yeah, we took you to the pits of heat, equality, love, love. So you see, I can go in and out of it just to let you know, just as a reminder. Or if you don't got that down pat, maybe you should get it down pat. It increases your intelligence. When you know how to, it's the same way. So let's like when gang members, for example, when Bloods, they don't say no C words. It's the same thing. It's a unique language. When some Crips they don't use B words. This is what we're doing when you create a sub language or a sub genre of language, as we call street language, which is one of the elements of hip hop. For those who know about the nine elements, one of the nine elements is street language. Another element is street knowledge, right? So not only do you need to know the knowledge of the streets, but you must speak the language of the streets. And it's not just no ignorant shit. It's God's mathematics, which is supreme mathematics. Supreme is seven mathematics. It's culture. It is the culture of God. So when you speak that, you're speaking the culture of God, which is mathematics. Meaning, if you don't speak the language of mathematics, then everything's gonna fucking confuse you. Especially when people begin to talk about the devil and all this stuff. When like, okay, all this is mathematical equations. What are we really talking about? Is this really about God and devil, or are we talking about equations? Equations of the matrix. But anyway, I'm not gonna go too deep into that. No, I think y'all get the point. Coming to Vegas around July, it's gonna be hot as fuck. Good luck with that. It's gonna be hot as fuck. I don't know what made you want to come to the desert in the summer. I don't know what made you want to come to the desert in the summertime. Oh man, good luck with that. That's gonna be crazy. That July heat is gonna be over 100 degrees. Good luck with that. Do you know anything about the Viking symbol, hymn of all? No, not by words like that. No, I would actually need to see the symbol. So ham of all doesn't spark. But if I actually saw the symbols, I'm like, okay, I see what that is. Meaning when I look at symbols, I be putting my own definitions to it. So if that's the technical term of it, like I don't know about a technical term. Like him of all, I will have to actually look at the symbol. So no, I don't just know about name. But like I'm clearly into, the Viking energy, the rune energy, the Druid energy, the Celtic energy. As y'all see, I'll be showing y'all my runes. I have a ring with runes on it. I'll be showing y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see if I can find this. There it is. So I don't know if y'all can see that. But you see, this has runes. This has the 22 runes on it. You probably can't see the runes. Let me see if I go back. Anyway, these are the 22 runes on it. Probably can't see it. And this has Viking. This is a Viking ring. That's the details. It's YouTube live. Normally the camera would just zoom in on this shit. But this is a Viking ring. This has Viking symbols on it. But yeah, you can't really see the symbols. So I'm heavy into the Celtic culture. I have a little druid with me. Where is he? Hold on. Hold on. All right, got the little druid, man. So yeah, you see, I stay with all type of symbols. I'm heavy with that energy. But yeah, I don't know the technical terms of all of the symbols. So just to answer your question, I don't know the technical terms. I saw I saw Absol out there at the Hard Rock. Definitely salute the Absol. Salute the Absol. You helped me a lot, bro. That's what I'm here for, right? As they say, I'm just OG at this point. I'm just OGing around this bitch, right? I'm just giving you the game. What you choose to do with it is completely up to you. But you can't say I didn't give it to you. All right, just fulfilling my duty, fulfilling my responsibilities for me to make sure that you don't get caught up in the matrix. We've been doing it for 10 years. We're going to go for another 10, right? We ain't going nowhere until death calls. And even then, y'all still gonna have access to me. So even when death calls, y'all can still be tapping into these energies. These videos ain't going nowhere. You got access to these for life at this point. So even in death, it still continues. They don't know Old English either. I love speaking and texting Old English. Some people talk back and some be like, what you mean by that? Or why you talk like that? It's because you must speak the language of the people. Like I can speak to y'all in a way that's just purely mathematical, but it wouldn't be effective. So that's why I speak to you in layman terms. So yeah, if you just start speaking Old English, people be looking at you like, I wouldn't advise it. I would say just speak the language of the people. If you're seeking to be understood, that is. If you don't care to be understood, then speak whatever you want to speak. But if you're actually trying to relate and comprehend the layman's, then you got to speak their language, which is common English, the English of the commoners, which is just a bunch of cussing and fussing, really. Hip hop shit. Well, no, not hip hop shit, rap shit. Most people speak rap lyrics at this point. So your goal is to speak hip hop because that's a vibration higher than rap. So you can still speak hip hop and connect to those who speak rap. So that's basically a jewel for you right there. So speak hip hop. You ain't got to go all the way to Old English. Just go to hip hop while everybody else is on rap time, and then you will see the supremacy of hip hop when you speak the language. I deployed to Jordan in the summer. I can handle it. All right, man. Jordan's not Las Vegas. That's all I'm gonna say. This desert is not like any other desert. This desert is radioactive. If you know the history of Las Vegas, this is a radioactive territory. Right? You can't compare Vegas to any other place on the planet because the history is different, right? I'm just saying that to say the best time to come is either the spring or the fall because it's not too hot. You're in that in between phase. Like right now, it's cool. You still got wind, so even when it's hot, you still got a lot of wind blowing. But that when the summer, like the wind stops, it's just if you stand still too long, you're gonna begin to sweat. But again, that's not. If you've been in the desert before, you understand that. But this type of desert is a little different. It's a little different. This may be one of the hardest places to survive on the planet. But that's neither here nor there. Helm of All is one of the most powerful protective symbols in the world. Vikings marked it on their foreheads in battle. See, that's what I mean. If I saw the symbol, I'm like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just don't know it by its technical name. So I guarantee if I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, like okay, yeah, I clearly know what that is. I've seen that before. I just don't know about the technical name. But as you see, I work with Viking energies. Like, I just showed you a Viking ring. I work with the runes. I showed you my little druid. I'm very in tune with the Celtic energy because, I definitely come from the land or the world of the Fae and the elves and all that. I'm definitely from that world. My great grandmother's name was Faye. That was literally her name. So she would definitely so that's where I come from. So that's another gift from the great grandparents. The energy of the fairies, the energy of the elves, the energy of the druids. So I definitely got that in my blood. Just knowing my own grandmother, and she was born on the 25th day. 2 plus 5 gives you the seven, the number of God. And they lived in the seventh vibration. Their home, 8431 was their address, which breaks down to the seven. So that seven energy, that's also the home that I became enlightened in. My first introduction into, meditation and all that was within their home. I learned about the East in their home, you know. So that's all these gifts that they give me, or that they gave me. I still benefit to this day from what they've been doing for 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I also went to military training in Texas. I don't know why you're comparing Vegas to these other places. It's not the same. I've been in Texas. Texas is nothing like Las Vegas. But again, you will see. You know, like go ahead and come in the summer. You know, I'm not saying you're not going to enjoy yourself because there's plenty to do. You don't have to necessarily even be outside if you don't want to. So it's just not going to be comfortable. It's just not going to be comfortable unless you stay inside or if you go out at night. So I guess that's one thing I do like about the summers of Vegas. You can actually go out at night in t-shirts and shorts. You can't really do that in California because it gets real windy at night. But here it don't get windy at night, so you can be just t-shorts and shirts and shorts, and you would be all right. It can be 12 in the morning, and you would be straight. What's up, Ashley Freeman? Why is it said that demons dwell in dry places or sent to the dry lands? Because they are, especially the jinn. The jinn dwell in the desert. That's another reason why I like the desert. I don't really like to mention that often, but another reason why I do like the desert is because I'm amongst the jinn. And for me being from Detroit, and Islam has a heavy influence in Detroit and the whole Midwest, we're surrounded by jinn. So I really feel at home in Vegas because I'm surrounded by the jinn. They live in the desert places or the dry places, right? And the reason they live in the dry places is because they're composed of a smokeless fire. They're composed of fire. So they love this heat. They love that Las Vegas sun. They love that sun. I love it too. I be in that sun every day. Like every day I get about an hour of sunlight every day. You know what I mean? So I be on my feet for 10 hours. Then I be on my feet an additional hour just to get sunlight, just to get some exercise. So that's like I'm putting in this crazy work. But yeah, that's due to the gin. You know, I definitely the gin. I think the gin has definitely supported me on my journey in ways I can't even imagine. The gin is what woke me up. The gin is what made me realize that spirituality is real because they ran up on me. I told this story many, many times. The jinn spoke. through me, not to me, through me, made my mouth move and say its name, and then I looked it up on Google, and it's a real deity. That's what the jinn did. So the jinn is a reason why I even started my spiritual journey. It's because of the jinn. They ran up on me, they possessed me. I was possessed by a jinn, and it made me speak a word that I never heard before. I had to Google it. Imagine you say a word that you don't even know what you just said. You got to Google what just came out of your own mouth, and then it comes up to be a deity. Like, damn, I just said the name of a deity that I don't even know. I'm like, damn, okay, spirits must be real because I don't know what the fuck just happened with that. How did I say something that I don't even know? I got to look it up myself, and it came out of my own mouth. Why do I got to look that up? So it's because of the jinn that I'm even here, in terms of in this particular attribute. I used to sleep outside in that summer heat. I thought I was gonna die. Oh, I know that too well. Yo, yeah, y'all saw me. I've been in those streets too. You know, it'd be so fucking hot that you get woken up by the sun. Meaning, if you're not already up by the time it's about like 9 a.m., like if you're sleeping outside under that desert sun, if you're not up and moving by 9, you will be woken up because it's just too fucking hot to stand still or to be laying in the heat. You can't just lay in the damn heat. It's just gonna be too uncomfortable. So that you will be woken up by the sun. So it's like you gotta be up before 9 a.m. and already moving towards your destination. So it keep your ass on schedule. I definitely would say that. So when I was out there in the streets, I'm like, all right, I gotta already be in motion before 9. I don't get to just chill and just just fuck off my time. I still gotta keep it moving. Like this desert does not treat you nicely. It's not like California where people are just outside all day doing whatever. You ain't really catching too many people outside here, especially in the summer. You ain't really because people ain't just outside chilling. It's hot as fuck. See, that's it's a whole different atmosphere. So if you know anything about Cali, people be outside all day, every day for no damn reason. They just want to be outside. You don't really like being inside in California. You don't like just being in the damn house. Here, you actually prefer to be inside because you got some goddamn air conditioning. So people don't mind being in the casinos and the hotels and places like that, places of entertainment, because movie theaters. All your entertainment is at those hotels and casinos, and people don't mind. They ain't trying to be outside like that until that sun go down. But when the sun go down, it get pretty cold when it's not summer. But when it's summer, it stays warm through the night. So that's when it gets turned up. So it's a very unique environment. You know. So you would think you would just see people. You don't really see people outside. You just see people in transit. They either going from point A to point Z. You don't just see people chilling outside just to be outside because it's uncomfortable outside. It's not comfortable. You ain't just about to go outside and just sit down somewhere and the sun is just blazing on you. You're like, nah, that's just not the move out here. In California, you can just take your ass to the beach. You can just be outside all day and be cool. Cause the sun is like beautiful. The sun just hits your skin. It's all beautiful and shit. It doesn't feel uncomfortable. It actually feels good. The sun feels good on the skin in California. Out here, the sun is just like a laser beam. It's like you gonna turn into a sweaty mess. You gonna turn into a sweaty mess. It's not fun at all. Like that's me every day. Every day I come home from work, I'm a sweaty fucking mess. Not because I bust my ass at the job, because I had to navigate through this sun. So just my journey navigating through the sun, I gotta. As soon as I come home, I gotta rip off all my damn clothes. Like I'm a sweaty fucking mess. As soon as I walk through the door, I gotta take off everything, underwear, everything. I have to change everything. I have to change my pants, my underwear, socks, shirt. I have to change my whole every day. So clothes is coming off immediately. So I don't mind it though because I feel like I'm getting that ancient experience, walking through the desert. So I don't mind it. I feel like I become wiser just navigating through the desert. So it ain't about nothing. Why did you leave LA? LA was crazy. I still go back though. So I just don't live in LA. I live in Vegas. I prefer Vegas. Vegas is more level. Cali, is all over the place, right? You be all over the place in Cali. So Vegas is a little more consistent for me. It's a little bit more business orientated for me. Vegas is what made me a magician. Vegas is what gave me a lot of downtime, for me to master my craft. I would have never been able to master my craft in California because I was too caught up in other shit, right? So my spiritual journey started in California, but I had to come to Vegas and again go into the tomb. Basically, I came to Vegas to go into the tomb, go into the underworld, and become a magician, right? Become a prophet, somebody who was able to prophesize, right? That's because of Vegas. I wouldn't have been able to do it anywhere else. So Vegas gave me time away from people, away from society, away from the influence of the world. That's what y'all been seeing me doing for 10 years. I started this YouTube the same year I moved to Vegas. I moved to Vegas in 2013. That's the year I started this YouTube. And that's when I started to become wise. So basically, this whole journey y'all been seeing is my journey in Vegas from 2013 all the way to now. I've been mastering my craft, you know. Because again, Vegas just gives you don't mind just being in the library, just being in the house, and just being in your own thoughts, being in your own dreams. California's energy, California, just the energy is solar. Just to make this plain, California is ruled by solar energy. You want to be outside, you want to be active, you want to be working, you just want to be doing things. Here, you just want to chill. It's a retirement city, so you don't mind just sitting back and chilling. So I just use that and to go inside of myself, go into the internal, take that internal journey. And that's what I've been documenting for the last 10 years is that internal journey, right? So I had to bring forth the shadow, bring forth the alter ego, just really move out of my own way. And y'all basically have seen the results from that, right? So in the midst of me documenting my own journey, I've been able to, assist many people in their own journey. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to be in a position, to be an example. Cause y'all see how hard I go with this shit. Y'all see I'm still doing this shit. And ain't nothing changed other than just me working. Y'all see I'm still same energy, same mind. I'm at the same time. So cause I know how to keep the world separate. I don't try to mix and match. I keep those worlds separate. So you see I can still come on here talking the same shit, you know, on the same time. Then I just take my ass to work and put on the mask, the helmet of Pluto, right? The helmet of Hades, rather, if I want to be technical, the helmet of Hades, not the helmet of Pluto. So mine too, 93. I see Maurice 313. Shout out to the 313. You already know. I was thinking about moving out there at some point. So if you want to be on your magician shit, definitely come to the desert. If you're ready to be a magician, so definitely. So if you have that type of mind naturally, then yeah, Vegas would be somewhere that you will enjoy. If you like, if you're more of an internal type of person anyway. But there's a lot of sin here. That's what I mean. There's a lot of sin here. I even had to deal with that shit at work. Cause at work you can wear whatever you want, right? So it be motherfuckers in there that's not wearing nothing related to work. Just imagine. Just imagine all these women in here. Yeah, wear whatever you want. So just imagine the type of shit that they're wearing. Like, oh yeah, wear whatever you want. Imagine how many leggings is in that building. I barely even see women in pants. But again, I'm not saying that pants was ever the move anyway. So I'm actually not mad at that. Women, I think that happened with Chanel, made it popular for women to wear pants, and it's like I don't think that ever was the move. So me not really seeing women in pants, I guess it's not a bad thing. I see more leggings and pants at this point. It may just because it's Vegas and it's in the desert, so like motherfuckers ain't trying to wear pants anyway. So they just wearing that. Everything is skin tight. It be women with no goddamn bra. How the fuck are you coming to work with no goddamn bra? The titties just be hanging and shit. I'm like, you clearly don't have no bra. Just put the goddamn shirt on. You just put the fucking shirt on. Yeah, like these, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? No, so I be seeing the dudes is be turning their heads and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, they got y'all in the spell. These women got the dudes in the spell. I be peeping the game. And it should be funny. I be laughing at it. I be laughing. I'm like, oh, like I see what y'all doing. Like, no, y'all ain't coming to work to make no money. Motherfuckers kept coming to work like it's a goddamn fashion show. They on the what is it called? They walking down the stage. They walking down the strip. But I'll be minding my own business. I'll be minding my own business. You know. Basically, I have work clothes. So I don't even wear my casual shit to work. I got work pants, got work shirts. So any like I can like okay, all this stuff is for work. So I'm not wearing none of the stuff that I would wear anywhere else. I'm not wearing none of that. Like no, like don't. Like, I'm not trying to get nobody the wrong idea. Like no, like I'm actually here to make money. I'm not here to get into no shenanigans. Anyway, but that's just because I'm older, right? And I didn't learn my lesson. I know better. Like, leave the women alone. Like like that's not the reason you should be going to work. They will have your ass slipping if you're not careful. But that's neither here nor there. Again, that's just what I see every day. There's just a bunch of leggings, right? The women have abandoned the pants. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They have abandoned the pants. Again, it just may be the desert. But pants are like forbidden. More of a forest person. More of a forest person. Yeah, we are all different elements. We are all different elements. I like how deep things get further away you get from society. Definitely thinking about learning to hunt because of it. Oh, fuck. Let's see, that's a whole nother life right there. That's a whole nother lifestyle. That reminds me of the Midwest. And I guess maybe the South too. Like in these major cities, you don't have nothing like that, right? You go to New York, you ain't about to go into no goddamn forest. You ain't about to go to no forest in the desert. Not even in California. Well, I guess not in the main urban areas. You have to go to the outskirts, all right? That's a whole nother life. That's a whole nother life right there. Talking about going hunting and being in the forest. I don't even know if I've ever been in the forest. Maybe when I was younger. I haven't been in the forest since I was like a child. My god damn. I'm talking about the forest. But you're right though. The further you get away from civilization, the better it gets. That's just what I do out in the desert. Like, see, Vegas is still under development. So the Vegas is not like LA where you just got building, 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 building. There's large gaps of just land. There's large gaps. So you can like go into this big ass gap of land and you can be there by yourself and do whatever you need to do. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with you. Just big ass gaps of open spaces and mountains. So it's a very natural environment. That's another reason why I like it. It's a very natural environment. You're not going to get that from a New York or a LA where it's building, 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 building. All right. But shout out to the forest though. Again, I don't have much experience in the forest. distracted by the lady in the red dress. That's what's really going on. I see what y'all doing. Yeah, tell the people they can wear it whatever they want because they know how human nature works. Again, I'm like I see the psychology at play here. Yeah, let the people wear whatever they want because I'm seeing I'm seeing dudes with tank tops on or wife beaters. He was like, I'm seeing niggas with gold teeth. I'm seeing niggas with gold teeth. Oh shit, you said everybody in there. I saw a motherfucker with gold teeth, dreads. They let you wear hats and stuff, so you can wear hats, Bill. Oh shit! I was like, we got the whole hood in here. We got the whole hood in here. It's funny as fuck. I'm sorry, it's funny as fuck. It's funny as fuck. I love my people though. I'll be laughing. I'll be laughing. Oh, shit. Like, oh shit. Oh man. Like you swear you back on the block. I'm like, oh shit, this look like the block. Oh shit. We just in the goddamn warehouse. Oh man. Oh man. Like every day I'm laughing at something. Every day I'm laughing at something. It's funny. It's real funny. Yeah, Vegas definitely would test your self control. Vegas is gonna test that self control. Yeah, you goddamn right. Oh shit. Oh yeah, Vegas. Yeah, you got these women out here. They on they on they on serpentine. These women are on serpentine. You got lizards. You got snakes. You know what I mean? You got all types of women out here. Yeah, fucking. They be wearing the little shorts with the ass cheeks showing. I'm like, oh shit, like it's like they just wear clothes because they have to. They just wear clothes because they have to. If they didn't have to wear clothes, they wouldn't be wearing them. But yeah, these desert women are way different than like California women or New York women, down south women, Midwest women. This is a whole different breed. I'm like, wait, I'm like, oh shit, this is a whole different type of being right here. I realize that there's like different species of like women and men. We're not all the same. Like we all come from like different species. So like this desert the desert species. I guess I'm technically one. I've been here for damn 10 years. So I guess I'm more West Coast than anywhere else. Even though I may not sound like it, or I may not have the energy of it. I'm like, yeah, this. I'm like, if I just look at my own life, I'm like, yeah, the desert definitely got to me. The desert definitely got to me. That's why I done fucked around and became a whole goddamn magician around this bitch. That was not the plan. That was not the plan. That was not the plan. I was like, oh, yo, you was planning all this. Like, you think I planned to become 93? You think I planned to, be able to do all these things? This was not in the plans. This is just like Vegas just captured my soul. I got possessed by the jinn. That's what happened. The jinn possessed my ass. Like, okay, you think you know what's going to happen, but no, we got a whole different plan for you. So then I started getting ran up on by spirits. That shit was not happening when I was in California. I wasn't getting ran up on by spirits. They waking me up out my sleep. They be waking me up out my sleep. I was like, oh fuck. They waking me up out my sleep. Then they be talking to me in my head. They be telling me what's going on. Again, the real energy of Vegas is Death Valley. That's what I heard from the spirit when I was on the strip. When I was on the Las Vegas strip, spirit told me, "Welcome to Death Valley." Said the sounding evil and wicked as fuck. Like, "Welcome to Death Valley." I'm looking around like, what the fuck? What the fuck did you just tell me that for? I'm like, no, you just need to know where you at. Like, this is Death Valley. I'm like, oh, this is Death Valley. But not death in the physical sense, death in the spiritual sense, because that's what happened to me. I'm like, yeah, I did die spiritually. That's why I don't consider myself spiritual. I'm it's more of an occultist. My lifestyle is more of an occultist, not a spiritualist. Spiritual people all over this bitch. It's motherfucking crystal wearing motherfuckers. But I'm like, I don't even resonate with that energy no more. I used to when I was in California. But I'm like, nah, I had to get deeper and darker when I came out here again. That's when I became 93 in the desert. The desert made me 93 fucking with those goddamn gin. Then they showing me how real this shit is. I'm like, oh, this shit is actually real. This ain't no fairy tale shit. This ain't no Harry Potter shit. This ain't no mythology. Like, oh, this shit is actually, there's validity behind this. People would not just making this up. You really can have visions. You really can. Spirits actually do speak to you. They do have conversations or they speak through you. You actually can be possessed by a spirit. The spirits can actually talk to you in your dreams. I learned all this manually. Not because I read a bunch of books. All this happened manually. So that's what I mean by I became a magician because I started interacting with actual spirits in real time. I'm like, oh, this is actually real. And not just spirits, you know, beings of the dead, right? Necromancy. So not just being a spiritual medium, but also being a necromancer, working with the forbidden arts, forbidden spirits. That'd be the funniest shit. It'd be the most forbidden spirits that be coming to me. It don't be regular spirits. But I guess that's just a reflection of your energy, right? So just imagine how I felt like fucking wow, I'm like, why the fuck is Aleister Crowley coming to me? Motherfucking Liberace. Why is Liberace coming to me? Like everybody with some type of controversy in their career, in their life. They was going through mad controversy. I'm like, why is these controversial figures coming to me? They clearly, I guess they just resonate with my energy. Like, oh, this is a controversial motherfucker. Like, oh, he may actually say it. Everybody else is kind of on the fence. Like, oh, he may actually say it. Like, oh, I guess I would actually say it. I didn't say some crazy shit on here, right? I didn't say a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't have even said, honestly. And y'all already know that if you've been around long enough. I didn't probably said some stuff I probably shouldn't have said. Just because, certain things are not meant for the public. But I still said the shit though. But you only know if you know. You only know if you know. But that's the whole purpose of being an occultist. You go deeper into the mysteries, you go deeper into the secrets. Now you know things that other people simply don't know. Now you're able to better control your environment. Now while everybody else suffers, you can benefit. That's the whole purpose. The world will never be perfect. People will never not be stupid and foolish. But you can always be intelligent and utilize your finesse, right? It's like they see your light and they gravitate towards you. I mean, yeah, I can say that now, but just imagine you not knowing that at first. Just imagine you having to learn that. So yeah, it would be different if I already had this high and mighty vision of myself. I didn't, because I was never spiritual. I was never interacting with spirits. I never considered myself spiritual at all until spiritual shit started happening to me. I'm like, oh, I guess there's a reason behind this. So I didn't have the ego with it because, again, there's some people who've been spiritual their whole life. That was not me. That was not the case for me. Or at least I didn't know it consciously. So there was no reason for me to have an ego. That's why when you look at my earlier YouTube videos, you don't see me with a big ass ego. I'm like, I'm coming into this field humble. Like I'm the new guy. I'm just now becoming aware that this stuff exists, and I'm like I'm already grown. Like I was already an adult when I got into the spiritual game. So I can only imagine people who were children who grew up having these experiences. Now, again, I just wasn't me. So I came into the game hella late. But then, once you in there, you in there. But I guess that gave me, more courage to work with more forbidden spirits. People that were controversial. So anybody who got any controversy attached to their name, I probably didn't work with them, no matter how big or how small. That's why I tend to like, people. that other people don't like. A lot of people don't like Trump. I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people don't like Vladimir Putin. I don't have a problem with what he's doing because I understand why he's doing it. Of course, that's not the popular opinion, but I'm like, I get it. I understand why this is happening. What the fuck would you do if your neighbor had weapons that could essentially destroy you whenever they wanted to? They put you at a disadvantage. What would you do? Just let it happen or arm yourself? So I get it. It's not the popular opinion. People may not agree, but I'm like, I understand why it had to happen. And so on and so forth. Even people all the way down to Hitler. Like when Hitler began to come to me, I'm like, why? Like, again, it's like because I have this idea, like everybody else has this idea. Why is somebody like this even fucking with me? Somebody who then did all these crimes, who did a massive injustice. Why is this person even fucking with me? To you, then he lets you know that, okay, did you know this? Did you know this? Did you know this? I'm like, God damn, I didn't know none of that shit. I'm like, wait a minute. This is not the person I thought. Like, I didn't know he stopped, these human zoos where they were just showing black women like animals and they were paying to see that. People were paid to go to human zoos. Like all the women that were shapely and all that, now they're putting them up like fucking animals and shit. Then Hitler stops that. He looked at it like this shit's inhumane. He shut it down. So when I look at stuff like that, I'm like, he didn't have to do that because clearly they thought that shit was cool. But when he became, the head honcho, he like, oh, that's not cool. Shut that down. I'm like, wow, like, and if you read him based on a historical level, you would think like he didn't give a fuck about blacks, African Americans, whatever you want to call these people, right? So I'm like, why do you even give a fuck? Clearly, he wasn't like the people that put these things into power. That's why he was so controversial. Same thing with Akhenaten. Akhenaten was the most controversial Egyptian pharaoh. I have no problem with it. So I'm like, oh, all these controversial people. I'm like, oh, I had to do my own research and have my own experiences with these energies. And I'm like, oh, I see. This is not what I thought it was. This is not what I was taught in school. I was taught to hate these people in school, but when I actually do the real research, not when I have actual interactions with them, and then they remind me, okay, did you know this, this, and this? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. So they're revealing to me information that I didn't have access to, probably wouldn't even have known to research these things, and now I'm learning a whole different perspective. So of course, just imagine the most controversial figures is coming to you, telling you study, 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 study. What you think it is actually not. And there's a reason why they put this propaganda out there to keep you away from the truth. Then when you realize that, oh, that's exactly what they did because they never mentioned that, they never mentioned that, they never mentioned that. Meaning, how can I be somebody who records for a living? I use a microphone. I record whether I'm recording videos, whether I'm recording, the music or the ASMR. There would be no microphone without Hitler. I'm like, so the most controversial, like, it would be no, like, okay, how much can I really hate this motherfucker? So then again, we can start opening up a rabbit hole. I'm not gonna go no further than that, right? I'm not, people start denying the Holocaust and all that. I'm not even gonna go into all that. Right? We're not gonna go there. We understand who runs this platform, right? So we ain't gonna go that far into it. However, they were spirits constantly tell me things that I just didn't know. That's how I'm like, oh shit, this is real. Like this is not just my own self revealing things that I didn't know. I'm like, how the fuck would you? The same thing that happened with Aleister Crowley with AWAS. When Aleister Crowley met AWAS, AWAS proved that this is a divine intelligence. He was revealing things to Crowley that there is no way a human being can know what this AWAS person is revealing to me. It's like there is no way this is a human intelligence. This is some angelic shit. which is how you feel. You're like, yo, that's how you know when you're interacting with a spirit. Like, yo, that ain't, no human being would have known that. And if they know, they wouldn't be telling my ass. So you're like, no, like this is more than what I. So I think that's just what happens, you know. When you working with the energies, when you're working with the spirits, they can reveal things, and it's up to you to pick it up or just to leave it. You know, it's up to you. So I'm only at 10%. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. I just wanted to check in. No, I ain't checked in a minute. Y'all see, I'm good. Not really sore anymore. We cooling. Again, I upgraded the phone. You see, we ain't dealt with a single glitch. We ain't dealt with a single glitch. I finally updated the phone, so we should be good from here on out. And so I'll be able to show up a lot more often. Again, I wasn't showing up as often as I wanted to because of all, all the glitches, the old technology. So we got the new technology popping. So y'all definitely be seeing more of me very soon, right? So definitely stay tuned. Check out the website, all type of stuff going on. And with that, I bear peace. 93. Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. Love's a law, love under will. We out.